not fighting for your rights, you can't complain when people like this take your rights away. Be active locally and join your NRA. Well, welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. Now that we got the bull crap out of the way, took that out to the garbage, we can get on to this part 5 of this Ruger Precision Rifle series. And sorry for being so passionate about this, but you know what? It just irks the crap out of me when people are so willing to give up their Bill of Rights, such as the Second Amendment, when so many brave men and women have died for those rights, and it's simply due to a lack of knowledge and history. Enough said. Let's get this going. Now in part 3, we already took the ogive measurement where the secant radius of this Sierra 107 Match King bullet touches the lands, and that came out to 2.245 inches. But we still need to measure for the 105 AMAXs. Now, as a quick note, especially if you're new, usually if you get a particular batch of bullets from a particular lot, this ogive measurement will stay rather consistent. Now, if you get a completely different batch of bullets, you know, same manufacturer, same grain weight, you name it, they could particularly come from a different lot, and sometimes it doesn't hurt to re-verify your ogive measurement where the secant radius of the bullet touches the lands, because different lots can vary, and I've seen that over a period of time. And also, the more that you shoot your rifle, the more you're going to wear down the throat, and you'll actually notice this after, say, 1,000 rounds down the barrel, that this measurement will increase. So it doesn't hurt to verify this number time from time. Now, enough said, let's measure these 105 AMAXs. And I always like to do about 2 bullets out of one batch, just to verify. Now, before I take the ogive measurement of these 105 AMAXs, I have yet to clean this Ruger Precision rifle. So in order to make sure that the lands and the chamber are clean to get an accurate measurement, I'm just going to quick run a bore snake down the bore one time. But I don't want to overly clean it. I want to keep the barrel fouled. A good barrel that can stay consistently accurate while fouled is a good barrel in my opinion. And that's definitely something to keep an eye on, regardless if it's a Ruger Precision rifle or any rifle that you own, especially if it's new. If you notice the group starting to open up or start to walk off your point of impact as the barrel gets fouled, it might be something to keep an eye on. You know, some barrels shoot from the get-go, and they can continue to be accurate once they're fouled after, say, 200, 300, 400 rounds. In the case of my old Ruger Precision rifle and 6.5 Creedmoor, you know, I noticed after about 20, 30 rounds that the point of impact would start to walk, and I would clean the barrel and the groups would shrink back down, and then after a period of another 30, 40 rounds, the groups would start to open up a little bit and start to walk again. You know, a lot of that usually has something to do with, you know, the barrel being new, the rifling's just been cut. It takes a while for it to break in, but it all depends on how much time, money, and effort you want to wait for that barrel to settle down. Now, there's usually 2 camps in terms of cleaning your barrel. Most people I know will usually leave the barrel untouched. They will not clean it. They'll keep it fouled. in order to keep the barrel as accurate as possible. And once they notice the accuracy starting to fall off, the groups start to open up, then they'll usually clean it. Now, on the flip side of the coin, there are other people that will continuously clean those barrels the second they're done firing them at the range. And I have a tendency to lean towards the keeping the barrel fouled side. All right, so sorry for going off on my little barrel cleaning rant, but you know, I think it's something important, especially if you're new. So let's measure the ogive measurement of these 105 AMAXs. Don't forget to take out your headspace gauge and put in your 243 bullet comparator. Got the 243 modified case. And I like to use my snake, the end of my snake, to knock the bullet back out. Now, if done correctly, the bullet will most likely get stuck on the lands, and you'll have to knock it out with the end of a snake. About 2.233. So let's try this other bullet down here. So I would say that's pretty much spot on, 2.233. Well, I'd say, let me focus in here. That is right at maximum magazine length. And I think if I set this back about 0.015, it should be just about perfect. Let's check the coal on this. Well, coal is about 2.778. We're gonna wait 15 minutes for these to warm up. It never hurts to double check inside your brass for stainless steel pins. So while the charge masters warm up, let's go over the amount of powder that we're gonna drop inside the brass. Now, according to my Hornady handbook in H4350, maximum drop weight is 41 grains. Now typically they play it safe, and I think even for this video, being that some of you are new, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to max out at 41 grains. It's going to roughly produce 2,800 feet per second. Now, is that totally accurate? No, but the 2,800 feet per second should be fairly close. Now on the flip side of the coin, for the 107 Sierra Match Kings, for the H4350, I'm maxing out at 39.6 grains for 2,800 feet per second. And like I said, the 2,800 feet per second is not totally accurate. You'd really have to get a chronograph to know for sure. Now for the 50 pieces of brand new Hornady brass, especially being, in my opinion, this Ruger Precision Rifle has a tight chamber, and I don't think it would hurt to play it safe. We're going to end up at max. So for the 105 AMAX bullets, we're going to do 5 rounds at 40.2, 5 rounds at 40.4, 5 rounds at 40.6, 5 rounds at 40.8, 5 rounds maxing out at 41. Now for the 107 SMKs, I'm going to max out at 5 at 39.6 and go in increments of 2 from 38.8. Very similar to the AMAX, increments of 0.2. So with that said, on the flip side of the coin, for the Fireform brass, I only have 16 pieces here. So I'm going to stay a smidgen under max. For the 105 AMAX, I'm going to do 3 at 40.6 and 3 at 40.8. And for the 107s, which I actually hope the SMKs perform better than the AMAX, I'm just a Sierra Match King fan myself. 3 at 39, 3 at 39.2. And 3 at 39.4. Just a little bit under max. Now, while I'm firing this ammunition, I'm going to keep an eye on cratered primers and other signs of overpressure. Now, as for the seating depth, usually I like to start in the 0.010 to 0.020 range. So in this scenario, I'm going to do 0.015. Now remember, for the 107 SMK's maximum ogive seating touching lands was 2.245. So I'm going to deduct 0.015 inches off of that for a seated depth at 2.230. And as for the 105 AMAX, maximum ogive touching lands was 2.233. We're going to do a seated ogive measurement of 2.218 for a jump of 0.015 inches. Now keep in mind, I'm playing it really conservative. A lot of people I know would go well over these maximums, up in the 42s and 43 ranges, but these are people that have been developing loads for years and know what to keep an eye on in terms of pressure signs and overpressure. And I think for this video, especially being that some of you are new, I'm going to play it conservative also. And another good question you might ask is, how do you decipher how many shots you do per group, whether it's 3, 4, or 5? To be honest with you, there really is no wrong answer to that. Heck, I know some amazing bench rest rifle shooters that actually start out with 2-shot groups and look for flyers so they don't burn up their barrels right away. But then they've been doing it for a long time, they know what to look for. I think in terms of this YouTube video, so it's not ultra boring, you know, I want to try and get up in the 5-shot group area to see if I can try and improve this barrel from the get-go. Now, just to touch base on the previous episode with advanced techniques, such as neck sizing only, or if you can afford it, buying Lapua brass rather than Hornady brass. My honest opinion, if you do those steps, it can produce better results. If done correctly. But when it comes to figuring out the harmonics of your barrel and trying to decipher what bullet with what amount of powder works best in your rifle, there are other techniques other than just dumping powder and shooting groups and see what produces the smallest and tightest group, such as the OCW or ladder tests. And I'm not going to go through that right now. If I did, it'd be a completely different episode. But if you're new and you want to jump down the rabbit hole of load development a little bit further, this might be a good area for you to do your own homework. just to make it crystal clear which ones are AMAXs and which ones are Sierra Match Kings, if you make a mistake, use brake cleaner. Duh. Oh my god. Load development. Either you love it or you hate it. Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to bore you to death dropping all this powder. Don't forget your dryer sheets. Unicorn powder. Some people are having a hell of a time finding this, but you know, I probably got about 16 pounds of it. I'm not going to show you how to calibrate these Charge Masters, but if you're new, there are a ton of YouTube videos that show you how to do it. Other than that, let me drop all this powder and I'll see you on the flip side. You gotta love having two Charge Masters. It never hurts to clean your dies when you first get them. Especially if you want consistent seating results. And that's why this thing is so sticky. Always finish off with dry lube. I can't stress the importance of making sure the inside of your stem to seat your bullets is 100% clean. If you have a Hornady lock and load, don't forget your bushings. The die's set up, we're good to go. Now, although I could use a PMag, it seems like all my seating depths will work perfect with a PMag. Why should I when I got an accurate mag? Bullet comparator is in my calipers, we're good to go. Okay, so my Fowler round that has 40.6 grains of H4350, I'm using a Hornady 105 AMAX bullet. And And the neck tension feels really good seating the bullet. It needs to be 2.218, so we got a long ways to go. Spot on. Now, when you're seating the bullet, it's not always going to be perfect, but as long as it's super close like that, you're good to go. Once you have it set, you need to set it and forget it, and don't play with it. It simply doesn't get any better than that. Like I said, it's not always going to be perfect, but it's going to be super close. Now, although I'm using the accurate mag, I'm just curious what this looks like in my PMag. Now, I'm going to use my Fowler round. I use this to first seat the bullet. I'm going to use this to test it. I don't want to ruin the bullet concentricity of these bullets I'm actually going to fire. So you can see, let me see if I can zoom in here. For a PMag, it's almost perfect. I mean, yeah, it could be a little bit longer, but if you're using a PMag, this is pretty good. Now I'm using an accurate mag, so this is not going to be an issue at all. Now, while I'm on seating the AMAX bullets, I might as well put this aside for the Fireform brass and seat the 25 of the brand new Hornady brass. Good enough. AMAX is all done. Now for the SMKs, we're just starting out to seat the bullet. If you remember correctly, we had 2, 4, 5 touching the lands. We're going to take 0, 1, 5 off of that, so we need to bring this down to 2, 3, 0. Doesn't get any better than that. Man, gotta love SMK bullets. In my opinion, they're one of the most consistent ogive bullets you can purchase. Once you've checked about, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them, they're all coming up consistent, now you can just go to town. Not too bad. Beautiful thing. And that's a wrap. Oh wow, that was seriously the entire 10-part series of reloading 7.62 and 5.56 Lake City brass on steroids in 2 total parts. Well, I hope you learned something, especially if you're new. And even if you're an intermediate reloader, I highly suggest doing more homework on things such as neck sizing rather than full length resizing. Maybe potentially, if you can afford it, buying Lapua brass. And rather than doing miscellaneous powder drops and going for tiny bug hole groups at 100 yards, there's other tests you can do, such as the OCW or ladder test. And it might not hurt to check some YouTube videos in the internet for barrel harmonics. Well, that concludes part 5, reloading for this factory barrel. stay tuned to part 6. We're going to witness this very ammunition punching holes in paper. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and take it easy. And don't forget to sign up for the NRA.